Hello guys and welcome. Now this is Learn and Earn, the platform whereby I'll be using this to give you small techniques and tips on the visual design industry. By visual design industry, I'm meaning the graphic design industry. So now today I just want us to go to small introduction on the fundamentals of graphic design industry. And first, before even I get there, let me introduce myself. Yes, I'm Caleb, and yes, I'm a professional UX UI designer, and I'm good also in motion graphics, brand identity design, product design, web design, software and app development, and also a video editor. In the industry, I have 7 years of experience, and I know in the visual industry, everybody and every time it's time to learn. We learn every day and every time. We can never stop learning because the industry is wide and broad, and each day technology is increasing each day. Now today I'm going to just give you basic design principles whereby we shall learn about the fundamentals of graphic design. They are just about like tips, like some of the important key points in the graphic design. It's so wide. If you start to teach graphic design, is very wide. The industry is very wide, but I'm going to be giving small portions on the same, and I'll make sure that if you follow my channel very well, you will equivalently become just a professional, because I'm going to give you small tips, and I'm going to give you also resources, free websites where you're going to get free resources and copyright free resources. By that I mean, and also I'm going to give you strategies and ways where you can improve yourself in the industry, because at some point we learn, just we stay, or we learn and wait for clients. So you see, it becomes very hard for you to grow in the industry and also market yourself everywhere, because in this industry we need to keep on learning and keep on practicing. That is should be a norm. Should be a norm. You know, like I play guitar, but bass guitar, but every time you have to keep your fingers active. So any time you take your machine, your guitar, you have first of all to go run through the notes and all those stuffs, and every day you need to be practicing so that your fingers can become more light. The same with the graphic industry. You need to learn. You need to keep on practicing to get and understand and have the picture of one of the biggest challenge I have come to realize in the industry with us designers. Some of the times it's hard to get to understand, to do a layout. You see, when you're given something to design, creating or developing the layout of your artwork, how is it going to be? It becomes a challenge, and this one is now that what I'm saying, it is caused by now that just reluctant staying without practicing. So, but the more you practice, the more you do your research, the more those layouts you get more layouts in your mind, and the more you become creative. And the bigger the platform and the bigger how wide you go in the industry, and that's how those things stick in your mind. And you find that, like, when you're given something, you don't even think twice. You have already the layout in your mind, so it's just a matter of placing. Now, so first let's start the introduction part about graphic design. So what is graphic design? So graphic design is a process of visual communication and problem solving through the use of type, space, image, and color. So like I said, another name for graphic design is visual design. It's all about visuality. It's all about what you see. It's all about problem solving. And now, when it comes to problem solving, we solve the problem through the use of type, space, image, and color. So it's a matter is like our work is just to bring the image. Yeah, like for example, a client just gives you a statement, and for you produce an image of the statement. It's like a prompt, so an image prompt. So you are given a prompt in form of text, but you bring it in form of an image. That's about graphic design. So we are going to discuss about only 7 design principles. With this, I know you will be able to stay up to task. Now, number 1, we are going to talk about balance. So balance is all about, like, for example, here in Kenya, when you see in magazines, use some of in magazines, or let me call it in Swahili gazeti. So when you're given a gazette, jina ingine ni gazeti tu, ilikuwa tu gazeti. So when you're given those gazettes, most of the time, for me, I don't know if it's about you, but for me, I usually go through them, understand and check how the artwork are balanced, all those stuffs. That is now the lifestyle of a designer. At some point, you just find when you're given something, or when you check on a post online or a profile or anything that be designed, you always look to check how the orientation, how the thing is or is produced, the end product of it. So balance is all about the alignment, the asymmetrical alignment and asymmetric balance. So whereby, like, your artwork has to be arranged very well. You see, balanced. Like now, this used just small samples to illustrate. Like this side we have used, like we have divided into two, this part and that another, this one and this. And you can either use also left alignment. So when you come to balance, first of all, you see, like, we have center alignment, left alignment, and we have right alignment, and justify. If you know those, we used to learn those things in the most level. I know you know those stuffs in computer packages. That's how you could get those stuffs when you're some Word and those Microsoft whatever. So you'll find balance is all about that one. So like when you're designing something, when you are given a stuff to design, first of all you have to understand your message. What are you going to put? The message, and we have said the type and the color. So all those stuffs, they have to balance. You see, like, don't make your stuff to hang. Like for example, if you see like this artwork, we have an image like this one, and then it is decided in part, and then we have a text this part, just to balance that work. Now, for example, if this text was not here, it could not it will be pending on this end. If you put a pivot here, those mention uzito then left. So if you put that stuff here, you find that work is not balanced. Now we have another work that is showing an example of a balanced artwork here. Like for example, you have the energy balance. It is given on it's one paragraph. Here it is divided into two, and then we have this part down and down there. So that's all about balance. So make sure when you're designing your stuff, your artwork is balanced. Don't do like you are designed artwork, maybe your title is here and then those images are here on the center, more others are on the left, all of them. You have to make sure that artwork is balanced. That is why we have the use of paragraphs and all those stuffs. Now then, second one is proximity. Proximity is when you group related items together so that it is visually clear they are related. You see, so it is all about now creating relationship. You see, creating relationship in your artwork. So for example, you are designing a logo, or let me say not a logo, a poster or a company profile. For example, if a company, let me use an example of an icon from a logo. You have designed a logo and you have an icon of the logo. So what you do, at some point you may duplicate the icon. You may use the icon in every page. You make sure that there's a repetition. There's a relationship, not repetition. Sorry, there's a relationship in your artwork, whereby you can repeat the same in up and down. So, but we'll talk about repetition later. So this helps to create organization within your graphic, which causes information to be remembered more easily. So our brains love organization. So when a graphic is organized appropriately, it's both visually appealing and easier to consume. So I've given an example here. We have like for example an image here. You have the header, the topic, and the subtopic, and then we have an explanation of the same. If you read Gazette, those of you read Gazette, you'll find those stuffs there. They are just small symbols there. And also apart from those who read the Gazette, even if you make, for example, if you go through company profiles, if you design company profiles, if you look at the covers, at some point or inside still, people use this technique very much. So it's a technique that helps you build relationship in artwork, whereby you show that a certain group of things is related to each other. So like I was saying, if you are creating a logo and you have icons, so you may duplicate those icons just to show that they are related, and then you place on one end, maybe on another end like that. So That is to create relationships. So proximity is all about creating grouping related items together so that it's visually clear they are related. You can use either color, you can either use object. So it's up to you. But you make sure that number one, balance, your artwork is balanced, and number two, proximity is considered. Like now, this part, if I show this poster now, you can look here down. Maybe it's showing like the three, the plane and the location and the camera or whatever or image photo icon. That those three, the three of them here, they are somewhat related. We have another example here of an image, topic and explanation of the same, and the price maybe. So just to show that these three are related, maybe they are category of maybe our services, a category of maybe our offers, stuff like that. So we have talked about proximity. So proximity is not just something that is more complicated. It's just to show a group of related items together that this and this and this is related. So you understand the way human being we are made. Our brains, they are we are triggered by small stuffs. Like for example, color, all those stuffs, they trigger our minds very well. So like when you consider proximity, like we are said here, our brain love organization. You see, love organization. So when a graphic is organized appropriately, it's both visually appealing and easier to consume. Now, the next fundamental is about alignment, and this is a bit is okay. All these fundamentals are related. So, like for example, now alignment. Now, every design element placed in your graphic should be visually aligned to something else on the page. So whether that's the side of the page, the edge of an image, the text that's above it, it is here. So nothing should be placed arbitrarily on the page. This should be the number one beginner mistake I see in graphics, and possibly the easiest to fix. Yeah, if you look, I don't want to like I'm talking bad to other designers, but in this industry, you find that, for example, a poster that is online, it has been designed online, maybe a client has paid, but as a designer, what have you gained? Because sometimes you find that it's so messy, it's not arranged, the artwork is not aligned. You find that you just use a zigzag creation. Maybe it's a professional. So okay, this stuff, they depend on maybe the occasion, but I will not say that a certain occasion should be a zigzag or whatever, but make sure your artwork is aligned, either left aligned, centered, or right aligned, or whatever method you're going to use. Even if you're going to combine the three of them, but you make sure that your artwork is well aligned so that it can be possible and easy to read for the client, and also to create a balance. So that's why we're saying these things are related. So to create the balance of your in your artwork. The other fundamental now, before we go to the other, now, like this is an image here, and you can see whereby if you put a ruler in the middle and you cross another one, you find that the artwork is very well aligned. Now, like, let me use this simple one here. We can see text and the image in this side. You can see how the things are aligned. So you can use it. You can combine even 3 types of alignment in one poster, but you make sure they are balanced. They balance the artwork. Like now, this small examples will show you on the same. Another stuff we're going to talk about repetition. So repetition also is a bit related to balance also. Now, like okay, repeating certain characters, i.e. fonts, colors, layouts, design elements, etc. within your design will keep the design unified and cohesive. This then creates a visual theme that creates this unification and consistency. This is especially helpful when designing multiple related graphics or a multi-page document, because the repetition of design elements will tie them all together and make them feel unified and consistent. Repetition is also the number one way to create a recognizable brand identity. So like I said earlier, like for example, if you are making a company profile, you make sure maybe if there are icons we are used in some part, like this, just say that these are an icon of a logo of maybe a brand logo something, or just something created. But you see, if I repeat the stuff here, so it becomes a brand identity of that really. So for example, mostly when in the logos is an icon, the icon I'm going to use if you're going to repeat the icon on all the pages in a certain way, just use it in a professional way, it creates now the repetition, and whereby it brings a certain sense of attitude to a person who is reading, and also who is now, for example, if it's if when it comes to repetition in terms of color, for example, if I've used a certain color for a brand, I make sure if in a small, if they are in some portions in the same design, I've repeated the color severally in the profile. If it's a font, the same, I've used in maybe in subtitle and the title, I make sure I repeat the same on all the pages. If it's the same if it's a layout, I make sure maybe if the layout you have used in page 1 and page 2 is different, or make sure page 3 maybe I've repeated the page 1 layout. So it's just repetition. And maybe when it comes to design elements, for example, if you have used something like grunge, maybe something like abstract, all those stuffs, if you have used in a design or icons, you repeat them in all the pages to make sure that there's a repetition, create that of repetition, that consistency of stuff that is used, and it shows unification of this document is related. Now, for example, we have this like repetition of the word style, like this one. You can see just it creates some kind of professionality and a unique design. So some of these stuffs you'll see more them we'll see more in when we come to do practical. I'll show you practical stuffs whereby you'll understand very well. Now the other one is about contrast. If two items are exactly the same, make them different. In terms of an icon, for example, let me use icon because it's the most simplest to understand, and as a designer, when you're making a logo, you have to come up with an icon of the logo, if that is the logo is an iconic. Now, or maybe if you are, or any other stuff we are used like an abstract or design element, any design element you have placed in your poster. So at some point you find that maybe if I'm repeating the same, I have to use contrast. Contrast in terms of what? Contrast, for example, in terms of color, whereby one will be brighter and then I fade the other one, and also maybe the one is bigger and I reduce the one small to a size to be small. So to create that contrast. So for example, if you repeated the same shapes and they are big, it will sometimes it will not create that. It will just look awkward. You get it? Now because that's the concept of designing. So you have to apply these fundamentals to get professional stuff, whatever you are looking for. For example, if I just repeat this, you see, it's like, for example, now I've placed them there. So whatever I'm creating, doesn't look more professional. It's just something that is like you are gazing your work. But if you try to apply, maybe let's just reduce the size. Reduce the size, and we just fade the color, something like that. Let me remove the stroke. So it creates a visual theme, something like stuff. So that's why we have said that it is that if two items are not exactly the same, make them different. If that they are not exact, but if they are exactly the same, like icons, design element, try to differentiate them. And in most cases, make them really different while still keeping them within the same visual theme of the course. This creates more interest on the page and makes certain elements stand out among the rest. This also creates visual hierarchy, which aids in the organization of the graphic. We'll talk about hierarchy still in the fundamentals, but on the issue of contrast, contrast applies in terms of fonts. For example, if you have used a heading, so it means that the other ones, the subtopic has to be smaller, or maybe a different. You can use a different font. Maybe you can use a serif and then a sans serif for the subtopic, or maybe subtopic you can use a sans serif and then say the topic use sans serif and use a subtopic a serif. So it's all about the contrast. Is all about it is applied when it comes to text and objects, and also design elements. All those stuffs. Contrast is very important, so that when you're designing your profile, it looks more professional. We are bringing simplicity and professionality in this. That's why I'm giving you these small tips. Now, for example, you can look at this. We have a black color here, and then this other side is white, and then the image is in red, and then so the text is written in white for the contrast, so it can stand out. And then the repetition of this side is done on this other side, whereby the black is on the picture, and the text is now the red. So this one creates the contrast, whereby text stand out and image stand out. So that is all about contrast. Now to the next one is all about, we are talking about white space. Now this is very, very important, white space, and it is in most cases I have seen it's an issue in the designing industry, whereby you just find a person, or maybe a poster that is designed and or online, it is posted and it is cluttered, and it is unajua zile vitu kwa sema kwa social studies mambo na village watu wamekaa kwenye group hizo grupiwa, wengine wako scattered, wengine wako dispersed, I don't know what stuffs. So you find that a poster is created online, but it is congested. There's no even space to breathe. There's no even room for, maybe for example the client has said, oh, I just forgot small stuff, like I need you to add one sentence, or I need you to add one statement. I need you see, and you find that it is nothing. There's even not even space to put that stuff. That is where we fail. Now, for example, even if it's a company profile you're creating, you make sure it has a space to breathe, whereby you're going to leave white. It's not white space doesn't mean that it has to be white. It can be in any color, but as just a room for breathing, text breathing and image breathing, all those stuff. So white space is the absence of text and graphics. This can also be referred to as negative space, and therefore doesn't actually have to be white. That's why I have said white space can be whatever color the background is. So whatever color it is, but you make sure your artwork has space for breathing. Just leave as an absence. Like I've said, absence of text and graphic, whereby a small portion on the other end, on the top, on there, you have left space for breathing. Now, for example, let me show you an example. Like this poster here is just like that, but you see it as this is a white space of it, whereby there's no text, there's no image. There's another cover here for a page. So you'll see it's not all about. You see this in visual design. Usually say to tell my students that it is not all about filling the stuff. It's all about creating professionality and simplicity. Sometimes when something is more simple, it becomes more professional. The more you just want to make it more to make it more cluttered and full of theories, full of abstracts, full of stuff, you make it to be heavier, and also you reduce the breathing space. But if you give it room, it becomes more professional. That is for even for the client, and even if it's for a brand, and even for you to sell you in the market industry. That's why I'm saying that we need to these tips and techniques will give you a professional approach to your data. When, for example, when clients give you stuff, you know a message, you know how to analyze the image and come with an image prompt of the same. Now, number 7, we talk about hierarchy. As I said, we were coming to it. If you check well, when I said about hierarchy, the definition of hierarchy is a system of organization in which people or groups are ranked one above and the other according to status or authority. So hierarchy is just all about maybe when it comes to maybe for the government, maybe for an office, it's all about how it is called what, the employment, whatever, the office, the office stage. I can't the name imepotea kidogo. So but it's all about system, maybe company system, whereby you start from the CEO, the managers, the supervisors, all this stuff going down and up to the employees. So when you're given maybe staff client are giving you an order, maybe I need you to make this, and they give you the details. Even if the details how they are, you from your profession, from your approach, you will know how to arrange your details. You know, this one start with this one, I'm going to put this next, this. You know the alignment of the artwork depending on the information given by the client. So hierarchy, when implemented, literally creates a path for your eye to move around the page. Yes, you can in fact control how the viewer consumes your graphics. Viewers will start with the most dominant feature of your graphics, then move to the next dominant, and then the next, until they have looked the entire thing. So that means simply, for example, if you're given a stamp like I have to have the main topic in bold and big, all those stuff, maybe the main image big, with some maybe filters, not filter here, some additional strokes on those stuffs, and reducing to up to the lowest information, whereby the lowest information that maybe don't fail to attend, or maybe the number, or maybe just a small statement. So you start giving the viewer a big, wide contrast, a wide. Maybe if it's a text, you may give it the boldest. How it can big, how it can be. You can using your creativity, that is lowering up to the list of the information. So that is the arrangement of this. Iraq is just about that. It's not that much complicated, but you make sure that it's hierarchy and alignment. Something of this is just like brother and sister. All these things are related. You can learn one and you think it's just you are referring to the other, because they are all related. That is why they are the fundamentals, and they're the main key to your professional approach in the graphics. So, for example, visual hierarchy, here we can see we have a really bad website here. You can see maybe how it is cluttered. Maybe how it is. You can maybe how this arrangement here and this part in terms of colors and all those stuffs. So it doesn't have even the space like I have said. It is without the negative space. So it is just something that is a mix of colors. They have mixed like that one. Just text, there's no repetition, because so it has a lot of mistakes. So you find maybe a poster like this, or a brochure, or a company stuff that is created like this one. So at some point, guys, we need to upgrade and we need to learn these stuffs. They're easy to read, but when it comes to practice, you have to practice until you become perfect in them. Now with this one, with the negative space, you can see how professional it is. You see, it's just I've just created something like this. So there's a partition here. So this is with the white space, and with the white space you can see how professional it is. In just small, this image maybe, or those stuff is just there plain, and the text there, and you have created simplicity and professionality, because you are giving it a lot of white space for breathing, so it looks more professional. But when it's cluttered like this one, I know, okay, some clients will accept, but for your sale in the market, that's why I'm talking about us in the market. How are people approaching me in the market? So you have to also make yourself that whenever stuff is designed, when there's a referral, at least it's a positive referral. So those are the main fundamentals. We have the number one, like we said, we have the number one. It's all about balance. Number two, understand proximity. Number three, alignment. Number four, repetition. Number five, contrast. Number six, the white space. And number seven, the hierarchy. So we grasp those stuffs and just understand. I'm going to create another tutorial where I'm going to show you now the practical part of them, because understanding is another stuff, and also applying them is a different. But make sure that those stuff we have learned, just go and do your own research. I will put the material online. Just read it and pass through it. And if anyone you have any question, just ask in the comment section. I'm going to answer, and I'm going to give you a nice approach on the same. So last but not least, let me talk about the typeface. Just something about the typeface. Typeface is like, for example, now the typeface is there are categories of fonts. There are category of styles of fonts. There are styles of fonts. That's the difference, because most of us we don't know the difference between a typeface and a font. So typeface is a style of the fonts, and then we have the fonts whereby there are categories. We have the categories of the font, like now we have maybe Times New Roman. Let me use the Calibri. Let me use the one like script, those stuffs. So type is a fundamental part of design. It conveys emotions and mood. So you have to understand the typeface you are using in your stuff, in your posters, in your company, in your brand identity, in whatever you are creating. Understand the type of typeface you are using and the feeling it has on the same. You see? Now, fundamentals. Now, less is more. Keep it to fonts per piece. I usually say that, for example, if you are creating, I usually tell my student, when you are designing stuff, don't compete to fight to use different fonts. Like this one, let me use Times Roman, let me add Montserrat, let me add Lato, let me add Popin, let me add, for those all, for example, if I've mentioned Montserrat, Lato, Popin, Roboto, all those, Roboto is now, these are different, but I've mentioned Montserrat, Lato, and Popin, for example, those they are the same family. So of fonts, it's one typeface, but with the same. So it's one typeface, one family. You see. Now your view, okay, a viewer will not maybe understand the difference in them, but it's one family. So first of all, there's no contrast in your artwork. You see. So that's why I'm saying you use, maybe you keep it true fonts, but and different families. That's one, and you just you repeat the same. Like that is what we're talking about, repetition. Repeat the same. Use contrast. Use hierarchy. Use proximity to place them well. Use contrasting fonts for impact. They can stand on their own as element. Now, for example, these are just these three I've placed here. You can see. No, it's just simplicity like that. Now we have found these typefaces. We have number one serif, we have slab serif, modern sans serif, and script. There are so many. We have decorative, we have dingbats, we have there are so many, but first let's focus on the serif, slab serif, sans serif. Now all these fonts, as we have said, the typefaces, they have what we call, we have said, the emotions and moods depending on the family you are using. Now, for example, let me just, these have just indicated small psychological associations of the typefaces. Now, for example, when it comes to serif fonts, when using serif fonts, you use it for, it shows stability, and also it shows tradition. Like now the sans serif, the Times New Roman, shows intellect and formality. This is the psychological association of the sans serifs. For slab serifs fonts, we have enduring, strong, powerful, and masculine. So it shows masculinity, and because now they are syllabic. You see, like this one, they are a bit wide, and even they don't have those. You find most of them, they don't have the those icons on the end. You find it's just they have slab. You mean what I mean with slab? Block. Yes. Now we have sans serif fonts. The psychological association is maybe it shows progressive, informal, open, and friendly. When it comes to sans serif, these ones, they are those, like examples. We have Roboto, not Roboto, Popin, we have Montserrat, we have Lato. Now modern sans serif fonts, we have the psychological association are maybe chic, they show futuristic and elegant. For example, we have the Roboto condensed, that is. So we have maybe the Oswald, and we have the most of these condensed fonts. Now, psychological association for script fonts, we have the creative. It shows the creative, amusing, fun, childlike, and romantic. So that's why you see most of them, they are used in wedding cards, or maybe romantic occasion, or children, or fun. But you find we have on the fun also. Fun is the decorative fonts also. They have psychological association with psychologically associated with fun. Those are just few. You can go online. You search more. There are so many. There are so many moods and the feelings that associate psychologically with the typefaces, so that you can understand the brand you are creating. It's a brand that does this and this, so it's psychologically associated to this and this. So you'll get a font that is best and the right one for that brand. So as we said, this is about professionality. Yeah, it's not about guesswork. Just said, guess, let me use this for now. Understand and become professional in the industry. That one will sell you more. You see, these are the same as psychological fonts. So with these are the slabs we have talked about. That's about it. So I have here some questions that you have to ask yourself. That whenever you are creating, using a typeface, a design, whatever you are creating, you can ask yourself: is it that type appropriate you are using, keeping with the message? Is it keeping with the message? So you understand. Ask yourself if the type is correct. or does it have, is it concurring with the message? Is it concurring with the brand? All those stuffs. I'll ask yourself that question. Another question, when using more than one, do they contrast or conflict? They conflict. You ask yourself. That's why I've said in these families, if you use the same family, it is automatic it will conflict. But if you use a different family, like if you use a sans serif and a serif font, it becomes more, it creates a contrast and professionality. Then you ask yourself, is it the right size for the message? Is it the right size for the message? So for example, if it's a heading, can a heading be bigger than subheading? So you have to ask yourself that question. Is the type more, number 4, is the type more on the timeless side or cheesy or dated? So you have to understand, is it current or is it traditional, or is it whatever the event, whatever the statement it is you are using it to illustrate. Ask yourself that question if it is suits the same. So I'm giving to give you the website whereby these are the resources. This is a web page where you can get free fonts, the Da font, Google fonts. They also give, there are thousands and thousands of fonts here you can go and search. For example, if you just go to the filter, you choose you specify to maybe you specify maybe to serif, sans serif, decorative, all those stuffs. You'll get and understand the fonts very well, and also you get to learn more types of fonts and how to blend them, because knowing a lot of fonts is different, and the way you apply them is also different. You have to understand how you apply them. So guys, thank you. I'm going to upload another video where we are going to do a tutorial, practical tutorial on the same. We just create and illustrate smaller posters and company stuffs to show you how you apply those fundamentals. But make sure you just go through them one by one. I'm going to put the resource online. Use one by one, learn and understand. And if you grasp them, try and apply the skill to your artwork. That means that you are going to create, you are going to bring professionality or lively in your product or whatever you be designing. So guys, thank you very much, and see you next time. If you have any question, just ask in the comment section and I'm going to answer. And also those who need support on the same, we are in this industry together, and as I said, visual design is all about learning each day. So we have to keep on learning, we have to keep on practicing, and we have to keep on giving out and sharing, so that we can be able to grow the same and to grow together. Thank you very much. See you next time.